and welcome back to another Sims 3 speed build. Today we are working on a house that has 2 bedrooms and I think it's 2.5 bath, or maybe it's just 2 bath. I can't quite remember. It's been a little while ago since I had built this one. I had built it before I took a little bit of time off, so I'm having to, I can't quite remember exactly what I done with this house. I had decided this time we're going to raise some of the terrain. That way it was just a little bit different, a little bit different than what I normally do. A lot of times I just go ahead and build on whatever terrain the house happens to be on. This time I decided I wanted the terrain just to be a little bit higher, and we're going to have pretty much one of the reasons why I had it go, the terrain a little bit different was, of course, for it to be a little bit different, but I also wanted to have a walkout basement, and I wanted the garage to be underneath the house, and so that's just pretty much kind of what we're doing. So I never know. Sometimes I usually have a little bit of an idea of what kind of house I am shooting for, but I don't actually really know what the house is going to look like until I get it completed. Like in this case, I knew I wanted a walkout basement and I knew I wanted a garage underneath the house. That was pretty much all I had going into the build, and the rest I just kind of just threw it together. Some of the ideas that I had worked and some of the ideas do not. So as you can see, like right there, I just went ahead. I'm trying to get this, to look halfway decent. I don't think I leave that roof like that in the front of the house. I'm pretty sure I changed it. But sometimes roofing can be tricky, especially when I have an idea in my mind and not all roofs that you can actually do on a house are you able to do in The Sims 3, and sometimes I just have this idea in my head that I want to do, and I know how it's supposed to look because I've seen it before, in real life, but to get it to work out in the game does not always happen. And sometimes I think I probably spend a little bit too much time on the roof in the game than what I probably should. But I'm just so, I guess you could say, stubborn. I can be very stubborn when it comes to building in this game. I want it to be a certain way, and sometimes I just cannot get that to work, as you can see here. So obviously I had it in my mind that I wanted this roof to look a certain way, and as you can see, it just was not exactly turning out as planned. We do kind of move on a little bit, but just one of those things where I'm trying to get the corners of the roof to be in a certain spot, that way it looks right. I personally don't like a flat roof that goes, well, not really flat, but a roof that just goes straight up and it doesn't have a nice corner on a porch. I don't know. I do see some houses that are done like that. In fact, the house that's next to us has a roof like that. But I like the roofs, especially on a porch, to have the nice corners. And in this game, it's not always possible, and sometimes it's not very easy to accomplish if you do happen to accomplish it, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer than probably should. Just one of those things where I probably spent more time on the roof of this house than I probably should have, and but I was being stubborn and picky, and we eventually get something worked out. So here I'm just trying to get the terrain and the stairs to behave and be nice with each other, but you know how they are. They don't always play nice. So, but we end up doing, I can't remember exactly what I end up doing for sure. As you can see, I did change it a little bit there. I ended up realizing there was really no need to have the foundation area right there, since the stairs was coming, right next to it. So give a little bit more space in the basement. We end up just leveling the terrain a little bit there in the front. Just gave a nice little bit of a hill because I got tired of fighting with the stairs and the terrain. So we just decided to go ahead and continue. So now we're kind of just cleaning up the lot a little bit, just trying to make it a little bit nicer, blacking out the areas that your Sims cannot go, just so you can have a little bit more of an idea of where your Sims can go, I just find that a lot easier. Why I painted the interior there black, I have no idea. It does not stay black. We do not have black wall or floors, so you don't have to worry about that. So, and just flattening out the ground a little bit so we can have a walkout basement right there. So, not really having much of an idea at this point, really what the interior of the house is going to look like. Unless I have a specific idea in my mind, I don't normally have an idea of what the actual house is going to look like. As in, I don't always know for sure on what the floor plan is going to be. Sometimes I just kind of wing it. Sometimes I have an idea. Sometimes because of the style of the house, they're pretty typical on what the interior is going to look like, and so I usually just go with what the typical house of that style is going to look like. So, but in this case, it ends up turning out pretty nice. It ends up being a open, I guess you could say kind of an open floor plan, and you have a little bit of a formal sitting area along with just a basic living room. You do have a dining room and a kitchen, so it's actually, even though it doesn't look very big, there's actually quite a bit of space in here. I even have, you know, a little nook area for the office or for a computer and a desk, and yeah, it's actually quite a bit bigger than it looks. So if you want to change any of the rooms, or maybe you want to remove some stuff, you're actually going to have quite a bit of space to work with. So but yeah, I'm not really too sure why. In some of the screenshots that you'll see, or even in gameplay, the eave area of the roofs might seem a little bit of a different color. I tried getting them as close to the siding as I could. When I was building it, it looked pretty close at the time, but then when I was taking screenshots, it ended up not looking quite as close as I had thought it was. So I don't always copy numbers, the color numbers, and move it over. I find that if you just mess with the color wheel a little bit and just kind of get a little bit closer to the color, it just adds a little bit of a difference. It's not exactly the same, it gives it a little bit of a different shade of that color, and I find that that looks quite a bit nicer than being exactly the same. That way there's a little bit of change, a little bit of dimension in your colors, and not quite, not all the same. So just going in and putting in the porch railings and everything else just to get those to look nice. One of those porches I don't think you can go to in the back, I believe. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember. I just took them screenshots too right before I did this voiceover, and I can't remember. I'm pretty sure you can go out to one of them porches, but that small one I think is just there for looks. I don't think you can get to it. You could put a door there if you wanted. You'd have to move the kitchen around a little bit, but you can add, you could add a door if you wanted to. So now here's where I'm trying to figure out, what is this house going to look like? What kind of floor plan are we going to do? And basically, that's kind of what you're seeing here. Sometimes it seems like I go pretty fast on figuring out what I want to do, but actually what's actually happening behind the scenes that you don't see is I try a few different spots on camera, and if it doesn't turn out, within the first couple of tries, normally what I do is I end the recording and I just start experimenting off camera, because I don't want to waste your time on watching me try and figure out where to put stairs. So then once I do have a place for the stairs and everything seems to look okay and I'm happy with the stairs and the floor plan of everything, I even look in like the upper floors and the basement if there is one before I turn the recording back on, just so that I'm not messing around more and wasting any more of your time. And then I go ahead and start recording and then show you, of course, the final placement of the stairs and the floor plan and everything else. My builds, believe it or not, I do not sit here and build the entire build all at one time. I myself is unable to do that. That's just, I can't sit and actually spend hours and hours doing anything, actually. I'm one of those types of people that I'm always doing something. And I vary from what it is I'm doing. Sometimes I'm doing this for a little while, and then it might only be 10 or 15 minutes. And I will go and I will do something else. So that's the same with my builds. Believe it or not, I probably only spend on average maybe 45 minutes on a speed build at a time. The rest is I save the location of the camera and I come back to it later. Sometimes I come back to it an hour later. There's been times where I don't come back to it for several days. That is one of the reasons why I have my speed builds. I have more than one already done and ready to go. That way I try my best to always have a video on Friday for you to watch. It is a speed build regardless of what it is, whether it is in The Sims 3, a Sims 4, or maybe we're working on the Let's Build a House series, or maybe it's a collab. There's usually, I try to always have some kind of build in some way or another on Fridays, but sometimes I just not coming with anything. I mean, there's times where I'll get only one room decorated, like I'll get the kitchen and dining room area maybe, or just the kitchen, and after that I have no idea what to do after that. And I'll just leave and I'll come back later and work on it some more. There's been times where I'll only do one room. I'll only spend maybe 15-20 minutes and that is it, and then I have to go and do something else. So a lot of my builds, I don't have all of this planned all at one time. And I do know that there's some other builders as well that come back to their builds, but I also know there are a lot of them that I can actually sit here for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and do the entire build from beginning to end. So, but unfortunately I am not one of those, and if it's a small build, then maybe I can. I can usually do the exterior, as in the actual build itself, the structure, all in one sitting. The landscaping usually comes later. I don't even always know on landscaping even then. Sometimes I do it at the end of the build because I just don't always have a clue what I'm doing. So I would have to say that I do enjoy building the structure the most. I probably enjoy creating the house the most, but I don't mind decorating. I think the reason why I sometimes don't want to do the decorating or the furnishing part is because it just takes me too long. I don't like to sit here for that long time and design the interior. So but anyway, enough of that. Let's get back to the actual build itself. You would have seen that, of course, we would have gone back to the roof a little bit because, well, I still wasn't happy with it, and it ends up staying the way it is now. And a few other things that I have done, of course, is use a few extra pieces of furniture so I can clutter more. I do that once in a while. Sometimes I would do a lot of cluttering and other times I do not. So this is kind of the area where I told you there's going to be kind of like a formal sitting and then a living room. I tried to make them look like kind of like separate areas of the house. The fireplace just happened to turn out to be in the one side all the way in the back, and I wasn't sure what to do with this space at first, so I went ahead and decided to go try maybe splitting them up a little bit with different colors of furniture that still look nice together, and tried going with kind of like two separate areas. So you have, like a fireplace and reading area on one side, and then the lounging with the TV on the other side. So of course, and I used these chairs. I know they kind of look old-fashioned, the ones with the blue checker, but I don't know why, I use that set all of the time. I just love that set. I have heard some builders, how they think it looks like it's their grandmother's house, but it does. I would have to say this time, they definitely look like a grandmother's living room set. That blue checker just gives it away. It really does. But I'm not really a modern fan, honestly. I like it when a house feels warm and cozy, and I like the colors, and I like the patterns on the fabrics, and I'm not a big fan of solid colors. I like having different colors, and I don't know. I just like it. I don't like having all the black and all the white and the straight lines, and I like having wood textures instead of plastic, which is a lot of the modern style. If you ever actually look at that stuff, look in a store sometime when you're looking at, if you happen to be somewhere that has furnishings, wall hangings, all of your stuff that you can hang on the wall is made out of plastic, and it's usually black, and I'm just not a big fan of that. So that's why a lot of times I will use wood trimmings instead. Now I have been doing the bathrooms a little bit different than what I normally do. I was kind of wanting to change. I like putting in, the wood trims and everything in the bathrooms too, and try creating, different areas that have tile and different areas that have paint or wallpaper. But here lately, I'm just wanting a little bit of a change, something different with the bathrooms. I've actually been using the pre-colored or pre-tile pieces in the game instead, and I've been basing my color themes off of that. And actually, I really like the tile that I use in the bathroom, right, that time with the shells on top. I just think that's so pretty. I love the colors. It's got my favorite color, blue, in there, and I just really like it. So here I'm just I think I was probably trying to figure out what it was I was going to do next. I didn't really think I had an idea of what I was going to do next. So the basement is done a little bit different than I normally do as well. It's not completely decked out in furnishings. I thought this time the basement just felt like maybe one that was not completely finished, I guess you could say. Like the garage here is still in the foundation stone. It does not have any drywall or anything like that. I do end up taking that car out. I only put the car in just to kind of have an idea of where it would sit, to make sure I didn't put anything in the wrong spot and that it would, get in the way. But I removed the car later. I actually had forgotten to do that, but it does get removed. I'm not sure if I get it removed on camera or not. And as you can see, there was a little bit of a break there in the camera or in the picture. I apologize for that. It must have been one of those times where I forgot to turn the recording back on, and I just figured, you know what, instead of redoing what I had already done, we're just going to start back in. The laundry room is designed the way it is because I wanted it to look, like I said, like an older like an area that's just not completely finished. And sometimes your washer and dryer in the basement, because of the moisture, will rust. So I thought I would make the washer and dryer this time a little bit rusty and have the foundation stone instead. In the main area of the basement, I decided to have it like a kids zone area. That's where there's a few more toys. It's not really set up for adults to lounge or anything like that. It was kind of more like for the kids. So I put two beds in this time. The one side is going to look like it's more for a boy, and the other side is going to be designed a little bit more for a girl. But I think the mixing of the colors, mixing, pinks with greens and blues and purples, actually turned out really, really well. And again, I left the foundation stone on the outside of that, or on that one wall again, just to kind of give a little bit more of maybe an unfinished look, or maybe a little added in texture. So here's where we're going to have a little bit of a difference in space. Some areas of the room is not going to matter if whose side it is, but other areas, of course, are going to look a little bit more boy or a little bit more girl. So here's the bathroom. The bathroom, of course, does look like it had been completely remodeled, almost like the homeowners had gotten around to remodeling the bathroom, or maybe they just finally got the money for it. But it's more designed to be for the children. It's not really, I mean, I even changed the toilet seat. I don't normally do that. For some reason, I got to think, why don't we put a pattern on the toilet seat? I don't really know why I thought that, but we end up doing it. And sometimes if you ever try to put anything on the wall and it doesn't work because of the wall being there, it's not because the window was there, it was because there was another wall, it was in the corner. Just remove one of the wall piece that you're not going to put anything on, and then you should be able to place it, and then of course put the wall back. So as you can see, there's the colored toilet seat. I thought it looked kind of nice for that bathroom. It was kind of cute. Kind of gives a little child touch, I guess you could say. So, but now we're just moving upstairs. This is going to be the master suite. I end up doing something a little bit different with this bedroom than I normally do. The bedroom ended up being quite large. I know some people like having a large bedroom, but I just see a bedroom as a place to put your bed, your dresser, and that is pretty much it. I don't really see the need for a large bedroom, but so what I thought I'd do this time is create a walk-in closet, but create a walk-in closet that was a little bit different than your typical walk-in closet in The Sims. This time it's actually a closet your Sims can walk into. It is a closet that they can actually go and change their clothes. They can sit and relax. I mean, it's a large room, as you can see. I even thought I would use these chairs to kind of create kind of like a sitting area ottoman type of thing where you would sit to put on your shoes, or maybe the girl was sitting there to put on her pantyhose, or whatever it is that you need to sit down in your closet to do. So this is actually a workable walk-in closet. So they do take a little bit of space. Not always is there room in a Sims house to have such a luxurious closet, but this one happened to have an area of the bedroom that I really see no reason to have. So we made a walk-in closet. So like I said, most of the stuff can be used. The dresser should still be usable. I don't believe the clothes cause any problems, so you should be fine in that area. For whatever reason, one of the chairs did not want to light up the same color. They are the same color, but you'll see that their coloring will be slightly off from the chandelier. I was unable to fix it. I tried changing the shade of the chair, but that did not work. So the bedroom is kind of a yellow with a little bit of a reddish color. I thought it turned out kind of nice. I had done rooms in the past that were orange or red and orange, or not red and orange, but yellow and orange. I'm not sure if I done a red or a red and yellow. But it seemed quite nice. It's a little bright, I think, for a bedroom, since a bedroom is kind of more or less an area that you want to sleep in. But I think it turns out pretty nice. Now, of course, realistically, this bedroom probably wouldn't be, well, maybe in some areas it would be legal, but here in the States, you have to have a window in a bedroom that you can actually fit through and get out for emergency reasons. I'm not sure about other areas or not, other countries for sure. And I'm not too sure if the two windows in the walk-in closet would count for sure. Since you could possibly get trapped in your bedroom with a fire in the closet and in the hallway. So I don't know if that would count or not. But anyway, the master bedroom really has no windows. It's got the three itty bitty little ones behind the decorative dresser thing. But you know what? In the Sims, who cares? I've seen Sims catch on fire and be completely on fire and walk out of the house and get in their car and drive away. So, you know, it really doesn't matter in this game exactly what you've done to your Sims. So again, we went ahead and went with this type of tile. Like I said, I was just trying to do something a little bit different. I don't always want to do the same things over and over again. And I do think that I might maybe style with the paneling and the trims maybe a little bit too much. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below and what you think. If maybe I should try changing up my paneling and changing up the wall trims and things like that into something a little bit different. So I tried doing something a little different with this one, like I said, in the bathrooms. Went with the pre-styled tiles and things like that, and kind of based the color theme off of those tiles. And like I said, I don't usually copy the color. I do on the wood. If I have a specific wood theme that I'm doing throughout the house, that color I will have preset in my game while I am decorating. That way I can easily change that without messing too much with the color wheel. But other colors like fabrics and tiles and paints on the wall, I usually just kind of wing it. I like a little bit of a variation. I just feel that everything, if it's exactly the same, just doesn't look quite as nice, I don't think. You know, just a little bit of a difference. Like, you don't need your rugs in your bathroom, for instance, to be exactly the same shade of purple as the tiles or the walls, because odds are you're not going to be able to match that in real life anyway. So a slight shade difference in your color, I think it looks good. So I do tend to match things, I think, probably a little bit too much. You know, like the same wood throughout the entire house. I have done white around windows and white trims before, but they're not my favorite. Depending on what kind of house I'm doing, sometimes I do that. I do tend to match my colors probably a little bit too much. I don't think I could change that. I struggle sometimes in The Sims 4 because I cannot match. I can't match from room to room, and sometimes it makes me a little angry. Probably one of the reasons why I don't build too often in that game. I know some of you absolutely love The Sims 4, but honestly, I'm very disappointed in it. I really am. I almost feel like the game took a step back. You know, it seems like we had good progression here in The Sims 3, you know, from The Sims 2. Now, I didn't play Sims 2 or The Sims 1, but, you know, from what I've seen, Sims 3 looks like it had done better. But then Sims 4 come out and the graphics just seem more cartoony instead of realistic like majority of the games are going to. I mean, you look at some of those other games and they look so real. I mean, look at Planet Coaster, for instance. The graphics are gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And I go to that game and I just feel so cartoony. So, and just a bunch of other things. I hate building in it. I will once in a while. Sometimes I feel the need to build in it and I want to. And sometimes I enjoy it, but there's just too limited. I can't change the terrain. I can't change you know, I don't know, you just can't do as much. Yeah, there's difference in wall heights, but it's not the same. They're just too limited for me, and I'm still hoping that they will decide to do a Sims 5, and I hope when they do, they make some serious changes and it comes out awesome. And otherwise, Sims 3 is probably going to be my ideal game. But anyway, enough talking about that. This is a Sims 3, not a Sims 4. And you guys are here to watch Sims 3 builds, not a Sims 4. So we are in the screenshots and they are just about done. Actually, the screenshots here, I've been talking so much that there may not even be any music at the end, and if there is, it might just be really short. I'm not sure. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below, maybe what you would like to see or maybe something you would like me to build. Just let me know and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed what you saw, and I will see you next time. Have a wonderful day. Bye.